Hello and welcome everyone to iList Georgia. I'm Jim Clancy in the capital city of Tbilisi. Behind me you can see Georgia's Parliament building, the beating heart of a small nation, the focal point of triumph and tragedies that I've reported on for more than 20 years. Let's take a moment to acknowledge how Georgia emerged as an independent nation. On April 9th, 1989, demonstrators gathered in Tbilisi's main square to demand independence from the Soviet Union. Women stood in the front lines. Troops attacked, and in the chaos that followed, at least 20 were killed. The Soviets barred international journalists. We reported the story from Moscow. The killings were branded a Soviet massacre. 1 year later, a memorial showed just how it galvanized demands for independence. 20 years later, the lead and gray image of Lenin is gone, replaced by a gleaming St. George. And when we return to this, the old center of Tbilisi, you can't help but be impressed by all of the change. The democracy is not perfect. The economy is still fragile, but there is no denying Georgia is a country on the move. There are major construction projects, ambitious improvements seen all over Georgia. Unseen by visitors is a sharp reduction in state corruption and advances in policing, education, and finance. Georgia is attracting outside investment.
The difference we have today, let's say, if you compare with the situation a couple of years ago, is that many things which did not matter previously, now they matter, like, it's knowledge, experience, hard work, devotion to the principles of democracy, and I believe that's the way you make progress here.
President Mikhail Saakashvili has led Georgia's 4.6 million people firmly toward Europe and NATO. He wants close ties with Washington. But there are others who would like to see Georgia remain in the sphere of its biggest neighbor, Russia, or at least steer a middle course. With independence has come the most important of all changes and the most difficult. Whatever future course is chosen, Georgians themselves must be the ones to decide. A nation's outlook can be measured in the hopes and the dreams of its young people. This is the first in many generations of Georgians that can travel. They can choose to go abroad to study or work, and they can choose whether they will stay there or come back. What are they choosing? We ask them.
I want to do both. I want to leave and then come back and then leave again, maybe. I want to study abroad, I want to get the experience, but I want to bring something back here as well.
I want to leave, definitely, because I just want to experience a lot of things that I brought and bring back some way, but also go back and work there also.
I'm definitely going to leave because I think that it's almost impossible to get a real education here in physics, I mean.
I think it's real possible to get an excellent education in Georgia, and I think I will stay here and work for the interests of my nation.
Christine, do you see Georgia? Do you feel like it's changing, and it's
Yes.
changing quickly?
Yes.
For the better?
Yes, for the better. I think that many reforms have been carried out already, and many are about to come in the educational system in Georgia and in every sector and it's changing very quickly. Yes.
I see the change.
Like what? What's changed?
Well, something that really hits you straight away is the infrastructure. You see all these new buildings, bridges, hospitals, all that stuff. But you also see a development in just the social life as well, and education as well, and all these different factors.
One of the big issues in all of the post-Soviet republics is corruption. Do you see corruption?
10 years ago, you could buy your degree. You could pay money and buy your degree, but now this is impossible.
There is no education now, so you can, why to pay for nothing?
Well, do you really think the education system has gone down?
Compared to European countries and American, the fees are quite similar. So we have to decide with the same amount of money, study in Georgia, which does not give you the highest diploma for your international labor market, or study in America or Europe.
As you look at Georgia, how it's maturing, how it's going, what do you think, Evie?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm proud of it, but I am very impressed, because considering that Georgia basically got reset after leaving the Soviet Union, it's only been 20 years. I think we can make a lot of progress in the next 20 years and compare that and be a whole leap ahead, a whole step ahead.
Christine, what do you think? Proud of your country? How do you think it's developing as you look at it?
I'm very proud of my country, and I think if Georgia will continue developing in this way, it will achieve many goals. It will really achieve, and it will emerge with the European market. I really see that our future lays in Europe.
If you wanted to explain to young people around the world what's something about Georgia that they don't know, that they should?
The Georgian alphabet, because looking at the Georgian alphabet, I think they will think that we are also very creative people, and we are also very good painters, so I think it would be nice.
Most people don't know that Georgia has its own language, which is completely different from Russian.
Most of people just don't know where Georgia is. Some of them who are very high developed people, they say it's part of Russia, right? I said it was part of Russia when it was Soviet Union. Now we're an independent country.
I really invite all of people from the world to visit Georgia and see how we live here.
Givi, Tamara, David, Christine, I want to thank you all for being with us, sharing your thoughts on Georgia for iList. Language is important here. As the young people just told us, it's one of the things that distinguishes this small nation from all of those around it. But in order to really understand it, well, you have to hear it. Buba Kadava, director of Georgia's National Center of Manuscripts, reading a passage from The Knight in the Panther's Skin by the revered 12th century Georgian poet Shota Rustaveli. These archives shelter precious volumes dating back to the 5th century A.D. Kadava tells us Georgian may be rooted in Aramaic, the language of Jesus, the order of the Georgian alphabet closely tied to Greek. Because monks transcribe them, many ancient texts here are religious, but there are also volumes of poetry, folk tales, even astrology. Parchments are preserved in these archives that unveil 3 successive evolutions in the Georgian script from the 5th, 9th, and 11th centuries. Because the parchment was so valuable, monks erased earlier types of script and replaced it with the newer versions. So central is their language to their lives, Georgians quote an admonition that says, "He who loses his language loses his very identity." The water-filled potholes behind me, well, that's the landscape in the old town of Batumi on the Black Sea coast of Georgia. When we come back, we're going to tell you how this once thriving European center of culture is making a major comeback.